the Syrian Arab Republic for his statement, and I give the floor now to the representative of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
In the name of God, the Compassionate and Merciful, thank you, Madam President. We appreciate Ms. Rushdie, Deputy Special Envoy, and Ms. Misriya, Assistant Secretary General, for their insightful briefing. We listened carefully to the statement delivered by Ms. Khulani. Madam President, I wish to make the following points on the situation in Syrian Arab Republic while also drawing the Council's attention to Israeli relentless terrorist and barbaric attack against the Islamic Republic of Iran. First, the Islamic Republic of Iran reaffirms its unwavering commitment to the sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity of the Syrian Arab Republic. For over a decade, the Syrian people have endured immense suffering under foreign occupation, terrorism, and coercive measures. This time has come for the people of Syria to determine the future of their country free from external interference and to live in dignity, stability without condition or constraint. Second, today, over 16 million Syrians require urgent humanitarian assistance. The suffering of civilians must never be politicized. We welcome the recent step toward economic recovery, including the partial suspension of sanctions and the renewed engagement of the World Bank and IMF. However, we stress that any easing of sanctions must translate into real improvement on the ground. All unilateral sanctions, unjust, illegal, and contrary to the UN Charter, must be fully and unconditionally lifted. Third, practical engagement and cooperation between the UN and the interim authorities are essential to advancing an inclusive political process in line with Resolution 2254. In this regard, we welcome the visit of a special envoy to Syria in 19 May and his constructive engagement with Syrian officials. Fourth, the 10th March agreement between the interim government and the Syrian Democratic Forces presents an opportunity for reconciliation and unity. We welcome follow-up meeting, prisoner exchange, and progress on education and return from the Al-Hol camp. Nonetheless, the security situation remains fragile. We express deep concern over renewed violence in Deir ez-Zor, Homs, and Sueda, including ISIL-related attacks. We note with encouragement the growing return of refugees and IDPs and closure of Rukban camp. Fifth, a just and lasting peace in Syria requires sustained political engagement, inclusive dialogue, and economic recovery. Syria has every right and duty as a sovereign state to restore peace and authority throughout its territory. Yet this right is impeded by ongoing foreign military presence and occupation, particularly in the northeast and south. Sixth, we strongly condemn continued Israeli military aggression in the occupied Golan, which violate the UN Charter, all the relevant Security Council resolutions, and gravely threaten the regional peace and stability. We urge the Council not to remain silent in the face of the repeated Israeli aggression, which represent the systematic violation of international law. These acts are not isolated. They are part of the broader pattern of unlawful use of force, now extending to continued attacks against the Islamic Republic of Iran. Having said that, I wish to make a few remarks regarding the ongoing barbaric attack and act of aggression by the terrorist and child-killing regime of Israel against my country. First, as we have already conveyed in this chamber and our formal communication to you, Madam President, and to the Secretary General, Israel has committed a blatant and provoked act of aggression against Iran's sovereignty and territorial integrity in grave violation of United Nations Charter and international law. These ongoing terrorist attacks deliberately targeted civilian infrastructure and peaceful nuclear facilities under the full IAEA safeguard, posing a serious risk of catastrophic consequences. Israel launched indiscriminate strikes against densely populated cities. Hospitals, homes, and essential infrastructure were destroyed. There are clear and undeniable war crimes. Second, In response, Iran exercised its inherent right to self-defense in accordance with Article 51 of the UN Charter to protect its people and vital national interest. Our response was defensive, limited, and proportionate, targeting only military and economic assets directly involved in the aggression. Iran does not seek escalation, but we will not hesitate to defend our people's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Third, let me be clear, Iran did not start this war. Israel launched this aggression, emboldened by a green light from the United States. Israeli claim of preemptive self-defense is legally unfounded and, if normalized, would seriously undermine one of the most fundamental principles of the Charter, the prohibition of the use of force. As such, the false narrative of an existential threat as invoked by Israeli and supported by some Western countries is nothing more than a cover-up to justify aggression and obscure Israeli atrocities. Once again, we are witnessing the dangerous reversal of roles where the aggressor is shielded and the victims is blamed. The same shameful pattern that the world has seen unfold in Gaza is now being repeated. This double standard is a moral and legal failure, one that will tarnish the records of those Western countries, especially the US, UK, and France, who have attempted to justify this flagrant violation. Their cynical position are undermining the credibility of this Council and very principles of UN Charter. Fourth, the only country capable of stopping Israeli crimes and aggression is the United States. If the US acts in good faith and is truly committed to diplomacy, as it claims, it can compel Israel to stop its aggression. But instead, and regrettably, we heard President Trump last night echoing with Netanyahu calling for evacuation of Tehran. Such a threat is not only irresponsible, but it is also reflects the deliberate policy of targeting civilians. Fifth, let us speak frankly. Neither this Security Council nor any other relevant UN body has thus far demonstrated the capacity to stop the aggressor. The painful experiences of Israeli crimes in Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, and Yemen have shown that the Security Council has consistently failed in its most basic duty to determine the aggressor and uphold international peace and security. We once again urge this Council to fulfill this mandate, condemn Israeli unlawful use of force, and explicitly reject its claims of preemptive self-defense as contrary to the Charter and international law, and stop the rogue regime from further aggression. Finally, Iran will continue to act under international law, but unless the Security Council acts decisively or unless the international community steps in to stop the aggressor, Iran will continue to defend its sovereignty and its people with determination. This is not only our right, but also our responsibility. Our response is solely aimed at deterring further aggression and preventing the repetition of such crimes. I thank you.